welcome to In the Blue Paint with Alex Cooper. I'm Alex Cooper, and this is my blog on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I first named my blog the Leafs Vlog, but I've decided to rebrand after only one episode in order to make it easier to find on YouTube, and just I got some feedback that the name wasn't that great. So, we're going with In the Blue Paint with Alex Cooper from now on. I've uploaded the first video onto this YouTube channel, and I've also named my channel In the Blue Paint with Alex Cooper to make it easier to access the videos. Now, yesterday I gave a little introduction on the bottom six competition for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year, and today I want to talk about enforcers. Now, enforcers in Leafs Nation is a sensitive topic. Some people really believe that the enforcers can still be part of a winning NHL team, while others believe that fighting is silly, stupid, and should be out of the game completely. Now, the other day, I was on Our Leafs, the Reddit page for the Leafs, and I saw a thread about who was going to be the enforcer for the Leafs next season. My immediate thought was, that's silly. There's not going to be an enforcer on the Leafs next season. But then I thought about it, and I read some of the opinions on this thread, and I thought, yeah, you're right. The Leafs might still want to carry enforcer. Randy Carlyle might feel comfortable if they have someone on the team who can still fight. So, today on the blog, I want to take a look at who might be that enforcer on the Leafs and some of the options within the organization. So for this video, I did a little research on 4 of the possible enforcers that could be part of the Leafs next season. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each one and how I think they, or if they can fit into the Leafs this year. So, first up, we have Colt Noor. Now, Colt Noor has been a part of the Leafs for a couple years, and for some fans, he's a fan favorite. They like the way that he fights, they like the way he is tough, and in the lockout shortened season, he was fairly effective. However, last year was not so good of a season for Colt Noor, and he's making $925,000 next year, which is a lot for a fourth line or 13th forward to be making. Now, the Leafs' second option is Troy Bodie. Now, he played a number of games with the Leafs last year and was, when in the lineup, reasonably effective, much more so than our first option, Colt Noor. As a second bonus point, Troy Bodie only makes $600,000 a year, which is much easier to fit under the cap. The Leafs' third option is Fraser McLaren. He was not used very much last year due partially to injury and then partially because he was sent to the AHL. It is unlikely that Fraser McLaren gets much playing time with the Leafs this year, A, because last year he was already sent down. Second of all, he makes more than Troy Bodie, and he's, as we will talk about later, less effective in other aspects of the game. Now, the Leafs have another option, and I don't think he'll be the first choice as an enforcer or a call-up even this season. But David Brohl played a few games for the Leafs last year and did pretty well. I could see him if Troy Bodie goes down as a call-up, as a guy who can fill in and throw some punches. He fought a few times in the AHL last year, and he's also reasonably cheap at $590,000. So he's about the same cap hit as Troy Bodie, which makes it easier for them to interchange if needed. If we look at the points that these players produced, it makes it pretty easy to see which is the best option for the Leafs in terms of a player that can fight as well as produce in other aspects of the game. In terms of points, Colt Noor had 0, Fraser McLaren had 0, David Brohl had 1, and Troy Bodie had 10. Now, David Brohl only played 5 games for the Leafs in comparison to Colt Noor's 54 and Troy Bodie's 47. So the sample size on Brohl is very small, and I doubt you can put much stock into his point totals or much of his stats from his limited time with the Leafs last year. However, the difference between Colt Noor and Troy Bodie in other aspects of the game other than just fighting is astonishing. And it makes it pretty clear that the Leafs, if they want a guy who can play hockey as well as fight, Troy Bodie's the clear option. Another stat that's good to look at in terms of comparing the two is shots per 60 minutes. So Colton Orr produced 2.2 shots per 60 minutes, whereas Troy Bodie produced 7.4. The difference in shots per 60 will also translate to Corsi. Now, I know I'm getting into advanced stats, and I myself am no expert on advanced stats, and a lot of people out there don't like advanced stats. However, the difference of almost 5 shots per 60 minutes between these two players indicates that Troy Bodie's play is more often in the correct end of the ice than Colton Orr's. And this is important in terms of possession and if the Leafs want to turn around their possession game, which was poor last year. Another important stat that I see that kind of highlights why Troy Bodie is a much better fit for this team is their penalty differential. Now, they're both enforcers and guys who fight. But when you get into a fight, in theory, both guys get 5 minutes. So your penalty differential should remain even. However, Colton Orr's penalty differential was a -10 last year. In comparison, Troy Bodie was a +5. So the difference in penalties combined with the shots per 60 and the points tells us that Troy Bodie is playing more often the correct end of the ice. He's also has the ability to fight. He's fought 4 times last year in comparison to Colton Orr's 6 fights. And this is all in about the same amount of games. So, so Troy Bodie is about $300,000 cheaper. $300,000 may not seem like a lot when the cap is millions upon millions of dollars. But as we learned last year, every little bit helps when it comes to injuries or call-ups. That $300,000 that you saved at the start of the year could be huge in adding a player at the deadline. So, I didn't talk much about Fraser McLaren. I really don't think he's going to be on the Leafs this year. I really hope Colton Orr's not on the Leafs this year. Now, I haven't talked much about Fraser McLaren and about how his stats compare to the other two. He's pretty similar to Colton Orr. His shots per 60 were 2.2. His penalty differential was -4 in 27 games. Now, he did fight a lot more. He fought 9 times, but he still didn't put up any points. His shots per 60 were very low, and he was taking more penalties than he was drawing. I think he and Colton Orr, their time is done with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Unless Randy Carlyle really needs a security blanket, which I don't think Colton Orr or Fraser McLaren fit that description. I don't think they make the team. There's just too many players, as I discussed in my bottom 6 video on the first video, that are trying to make the team for a guy who's making $925,000 or $700,000 to make the team to sit on the bench or not be able to play significant minutes every night. Troy Bodie, on the other hand, although he's making $600,000, which is a decent number, I think he's a good 13th forward to have. He played for the Leafs last year and played well, so I don't think Randy will have any problem putting him out there in some situations or some games where he feels like he needs someone who's going to be able to drop the gloves if it's needed. So, in summary, I think Troy Bodie's probably going to be the 13th forward and the enforcer, if there is any, on the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I just don't think that the money or the stats make sense for Colton Orr to remain on the Leafs, or Fraser McLaren in that case. And if we do need someone to call up during the season, I think David Brohl's probably a better option than the other two. He's cheaper, he fits better within the cap, and he didn't play badly in his few games that he played with the Leafs last year. It might be worth giving him another shot. Thanks for watching my blog, In the Blue Paint with Alex Cooper. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at @Alex_Cooper89. Or you can comment on this video. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to hear more from me as I talk about the Leafs and more things in hockey, hit subscribe. All right, see you later. Bye.